同学们好. All right.
老师好。
Welcome. It is class 4. We will be doing 8 classes. So we're halfway through today. I will do a sort of a quick summary of where we are once we've done the warm-ups. You both actually know the warm-up, but I'm going to go through it a little bit more slowly for people who are still learning it, who may be watching it on video. So let's just do the warm-up. And I'm going to skip the head turning ones for now. And so the way we do it is 2 8 counts for each of them. And when I get to 2, 2, 3, 4, on 5 and 6, I call the next one. And then we've got 7, 8, and then you do the next one. So, this will be, let's say, flapping palms, flapping palms, and I'll say, 2, 2, 3, 4, flapping in, 7, 8, and then we do the flapping in. So let's see how that goes. So we'll just start with the flapping palms. So palms out, stretch, 2 8 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, flapping in, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, flapping out, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4. Shoulders twist, 7, 8. So we go forward first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4. Twisting back, 7, 8. Then we go the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4. Arms push apart. 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4. Flapping palms. 7, 8 in front of chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 2, 3, 4, flap at the side, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 2, 3, 4, push up, stoop down, 7, 8. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, flap left and right. 7, 8. So just bend your knees and turn your chest on 4 and then back to the center and then 4 to this side and back to the center. So I'm mirroring you. So go start to your left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4. Arm stretch, rotate. Oh, no, flap in front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4. Arm stretch, rotate. 7, 8. So what we do here is we turn to your left side first, to the left side corner. Arms out, and it's like turning a faucet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4 to the right. And then on the last two, 7 and 8, step facing the other corner, your right side corner. Do 2 more sets of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4. Clench fist jump. And here on 7, 8, straighten out your footwork. Right foot, left foot. Now we're going to do all these things on one leg. And as you recall from last week, we always start on your left leg. So I'm mirroring you. So this would be your left leg. So so we'll do this quite slowly. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to do heel step out. So start with your weight on your left leg, right heel goes out, and the arms swing out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 2, 3, 4, push up and down, 7, 8. So now we're going to start again, weight on the left leg and step out with the heel to the side. And at the same time, so as your right leg goes out, you'll push out down with your right arm and up with your left arm. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 2, 3, 4. Step back, swing out, 7, 8. Now we go into the series where again, stand with the weight on your left leg. Now we're going to step behind us, put the toes down on one side and then on the other side. We'll just keep doing this over and over again, and the arms will change. So the first one, we'll actually do the arms will swing out. The second one, the arms will pull down. And the third one, the arms will clap by the side of your head. Okay, so back step, swing out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 2, 2, 3, 4. Back step, pull down. 7, 8. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4. Back step, hands clap. 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4. Tiptoe back swing. 7, 8. So put your feet together and you just lift your heels up. We call this tiptoe. And what we'll be doing is just going down and coming up. And if you have any back issues, be very careful. You don't have to go down. Watch yourself, work within your limitations. And when we've done that, we'll just march in place for 2 sets of 8 and then one last 8 count, and then we'll stop. So tiptoe back swing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4. Marching step. 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, and 8 more. 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and stop. And like everything in Tai Chi Chuan, that's much easier when you do it quickly than when you try to do it slowly, because everything just happens and it's all in your body. But by the time we get to the end of next month, which is May, it'll be a lot easier. It'll just be in your body because you'll be doing it every Wednesday and hopefully every day. Greg, welcome. Great to see you. Glad you could join us. So let me just review where we are, what we did last week. So last week in still practice, we started working on the breath. We'll continue doing that today, and we'll start connecting the breath to the posture. In footwork, we did empty stance, ball touch. The week before that, we did empty stance, heel touch, and we started working on what happens if you take 2 steps rather than just changing from one posture to another. What happens if you take an extra step? And today what we'll do is we'll actually look at how we change from bow stance to empty stance and empty stance to bow stance. And actually, when we get through that, you will have learned all the transitions that you need for the first section of the traditional form. So you will know all the footwork for the first section of the traditional form. And then last week in our practice methods, which is we looked at waist, and we looked at turning side to side, which is the horizontal movement, and then also the vertical movement. We'll practice that again today, and then we'll add combining the horizontal and the vertical movement, what we call mixed or figure 8. So are there any questions before we make a start? Okay. So let us start with our standing practice. So start with your feet shoulder width apart or a little bit wider. I go a little bit wider. Start with your feet parallel to the front. Bend your knees and check that your weight is even on the soles of your feet. So both the heels and the balls are weighted. You can't easily lift up your balls or the heels of your feet. And on the inside and the outside, they're even. So your legs aren't tilted in or too bow-legged. It's just nice and even. And we call this stance crotch rounded. So that's your footwork and your body setting. Check that the tailbone is between your heels. Now, arms rounded. And let's just do 2 minutes and check the posture. So that's looking really nice round arm shape. And so there are 4 things that we check in terms of posture. First is your head is lifting up. And at the same time, feel a sense of the rest of your body is suspended down from your head. So from the neck on down, everything is sinking. Second, make sure your shoulders are sinking down, your elbows are dropping. Actually, that goes together with head lifting. So lifting up your head will help to sink your shoulders. Number 3, absorb the chest and round the back. We do that by feeling an extension in our elbows away from the shoulders, shoulders away from the spine. Feel as if your arms are part of the surface of a balloon that you're holding in front of your chest. So at the same time that your elbows are extending away from your spine, your fingers are extending away from your elbows. So you have this circle. And then relax the waist. Waist is the lower back, lumbar spine. So make sure your hips are dropping straight down, that your lumbar spine is straightening out. So this is the way in which we train our posture. And there are, in fact, 3 things that standing practice helps with. One is training the posture. The second is training our breathing. And the third is helping to calm our mind, because we're attending to something like, for example, our posture or our breathing, so it's fewer distractions for the mind. So just come out of that and just shake it out for a moment. We'll do another 2 minutes. What we're practicing here is to get ultimately the springy feeling, what in Tai Chi Chuan is called relax, which means open and extend. All the joints, all the tendons are open. And so let's go back into our stance, knees bent, arms rounded, and we'll do another 2 minutes, and this time we'll focus on the breath. So Qi means breath, and that's when, we talk about Qi, we don't think about anything magical. It's just the breath sinking into the abdomen. So as you breathe in, your diaphragm contracts and your chest cavity gets bigger. As you breathe out, it goes the other way. And so as you breathe in, you'll feel your organs sinking down. So just follow your breathing, whatever pace it wants to go at, and see if you can observe your organs moving as you breathe in and breathe out. As we breathe in and out, mouth is gently closed, teeth are gently touching, tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and we're gazing, wide open gaze. If your balance is good, you can close your eyes. But this is a martial art. We are always alert to the world around us. Now, there is an interaction between the posture and the breath. So let's explore that. So in this posture, tilt your head back and see what it does to your breathing. You'll probably find that your belly tightens up. You don't have as much freedom. So bring your head forward into the neutral position and check again. Should be more free. Let your head drop forward. And again, it'll tighten up. And so go forwards and backwards. And you can do this with head up, with your head position, with your shoulders, with your chest, and with your waist, to find the position of your body that helps you breathe most easily. That's something you can see externally. There's also internally how stiff you are. So pay attention to your arms. Really stiffen up your arms as if like you're really just keeping somebody else. The shape doesn't change, but just tense up the muscles in your arms and look at what your breathing does. It's probably tightened up. So let go, just before you get limp, so that you have this feeling of extension, but you still have easy breathing. And again, change from more and less stiff until you find exactly the right place for your breathing. And release. So what we want to do with standing practice is start with however long you're comfortable. If this posture is hard for you to do, you can just, have your arms in front of your body here. If standing is hard for you, you can sit and we can talk about that, ask a question, but gradually increase the amount of time that you spend standing, because what you'll be able to do then is explore the connection between your posture and your breath. And ultimately, we want this to be so ingrained in our bodies through still practice that when we do moving practice, it comes along for free. So we're actually training for moving practice as we stand here in still practice. Any questions about that? Okay. And Rebecca's with us. Hello. Great to
Hello,
see
hello.
you. Hello,
Sorry, I'm
hello.
late.
Okay. So let us review where we are, what the structure is of what we're doing. So when we think about the progression of learning, there are three parts to it. Understand the reason, know your body, and be able to apply this knowledge to the martial art. We're not going to go to number three because actually for that you need a partner. Obviously we don't have a partner. In terms of understanding the reason, there are a number of things that actually inform us. Tai Chi theory, so yin and yang that we've talked about, the essential principles that Yang Chengfu, one of the founders of Yang Family Tai Chi Chuan, formulated, and the four that we talk about, head up, shoulders down, chest absorbed, relax the waist, those are four of his essential principles. So that is why we are adjusting our body this way. The next part of what we do is know your body. Know your body comes in 5 different headings: lower body, middle body, upper body, practice methods, and gaze. And actually, we've been working on the lower body and the middle body. So when we do footwork, we'll review footwork in a little bit, that's lower body. When we do how we set the angle of our body, for example, in a forward bow stance, it's tilted. When we're in an upright bow stance, it's vertical. That's middle body. And when we started doing waist, that's a practice method. So we're going to keep our focus on that in this class. Next week, we're going to start working on the arms. So we're going to add the arms to the footwork, the body, and the practice methods. So to connect our standing practice to our moving practice, let us just do this opening and closing practice. This is from the traditional form. Let's just do this a couple of times. And I'd like you to apply what you were doing in standing practice to this moving practice. So start feet shoulder width apart, hands by the side of your legs, just hanging straight down, arms not out, just naturally hanging by your sides. So rotate the arms and lift, keeping palms shoulder width apart to shoulder height, and come back, pressing down, keeping the palms parallel to the ground until they finish just in front of your hips. Stop, take in a breath, and then put the hands back again. Do that again. This time, pay attention to your shoulders. As the arms come up, make sure that your shoulders don't rise up. Begin, rotate and lift. Arms come up. When they get to the top, start like a wave from the shoulders, then the elbows, then the palms. Feel as if you're pressing a ball into water. Stop when it's in front of the hips and put it back again. Let's do it again. And normally when we do Tai Chi Chuan, we don't connect the breath explicitly to the movements because everybody's body is different, everybody's breathing is different. Some people practice quickly, other people practice slowly. But in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say breathe up as you go up and breathe out as you come down, just to combine what we're doing with yin-yang theory. So breathing in is yang, breathing out is yin, or actually the other way around. But when you practice on your own, you can do it at a pace that fits your breathing. All right, begin, rotate and lift. Breathe in as it comes up to the shoulders. Breathe out as it comes back down. And put the hands by the side of the waist. I just want to show you a way to do this continuously. What we're going to do now is, instead of keeping our legs straight but not locked as we come down, we're going to bend the knees and then straighten as they come up, bend as they come down. And so this is something that I actually use as a very nice warm-up when my body is stiff and my brain is sluggish, to just get into the mood for Tai Chi Chuan. So start legs straight, arms by the side of your waist, and we call this moving like waves. Begin, rotate and up, and we'll do 3 of them. Press down, knees bend. Come up, legs straighten. Press down, knees bend. And try and coordinate the legs, straightening gradually as the arms lift gradually, and then bend the knees gradually as you finish. Stop at the bottom, straighten the legs, put the arms by the side, and stop. So let us review what we did in footwork, and we'll add a few more things. Every week we'll practice the footwork, and I hope you'll find a bit of time to practice on your own as well. And so, hopefully it'll become clearer and clearer as we go. So let's start with empty stance. So empty stance, we are center line, this yellow line, 2 sides, back foot to the corner. I'm going to assume that you're facing the screen and I'm mirroring you. So this would be your left leg, left foot. So your left foot to the corner. And then, I'll come back a bit. The front foot is either touching with the ball or touching with the heel. The shape, the back leg is bent. The front leg is straight but not locked. So it's not like this, but it's not here either. It's just naturally straight, either ball or heel. When you're touching with the ball, it's the whole ball. When you're touching with the heel, it's the whole heel. And the way we change from ball to heel is lift the whole foot up and put the foot back again. Pick the whole foot up, put it back again on the heel. Pick up the heel, put down the toe, ball. Pick up the ball, put down the heel. Now, let's start practicing going backwards and forwards between the different sides. So let's say you're starting with your left foot to the side. I'm in empty stance ball touch. Bring the front foot back so that it's next to the back foot. Both of them are pointing to the corner. Shift your weight from your left foot onto your right foot and step out your left foot. Bring back the foot, shift your weight, change feet. And in fact, this is where you start using the waist exercises that we learned last week. Because last week, you remember, we talked about going side to side like this. And so actually an easy way to shift your weight from one foot to the other is to move your chest, so your center of gravity changes. So there we go, and then we can do the same for a heel touch. So it's a heel touch, bring the foot back, shift the weight, heel touch. Now add your posture, add your body to this. So we start with our chest to the corner, but our head is looking to the side. Bring a foot back, your chest is to square, you're moving from one side to the other. Keep turning to the other corner, heel touch. Shift back and heel touch. And what we do in Young style and most styles is you keep, once you've established a height for your hips, you keep your hips at that same height. So what you don't want to do is come up and go down, come up and go down. Just keep your height at the same height. Okay. You'll probably find that actually you may not notice anything happening, but gradually if you do that enough, and as you do the form, that will strengthen your legs. And Ajay Elishetti's joined us. Great to see you. Welcome. Good morning. Okay. So with empty stance, let's talk about how we change footwork. So let's say I'm in, can you see my foot? Not really. I'm going to do it this way then. So I'm in an empty stance, heel touch. I want to go in that direction. I just pivot on the heel, shift my weight over, and step through. Now I'm going in this direction. I want to change through 90 degrees. I pivot my front foot, shift over, heel touch. I can also go in a straight line going forward. So let's say I'm starting in heel touch. I'm going to go in a straight line. So I open my front foot, 45 degrees, shift my weight through, heel touch. Open, step through, heel touch. I'll do it on the line, so going away from the screen. Now we can add the body. So chest is open to the same direction as your foot. Open the front foot. Step through. The body will shift to that side. Now you're in another one. To change, open the front toe, step through, heel touch. Open, step through, heel touch. We can do the same thing for the ball, but remember when we change from ball to heel, we pick up the foot. And the sequence when we move in Young style Tai Chi Chuan is it's going forward, it's heel, ball, toe. So if I'm starting in an empty stance with the ball and I want to put my weight on this foot and go forward, I pick it up and put it down 45 degrees, then shift my weight through, ball touch. If I'm going to step again, pick it up, put it down, shift the weight in the direction of the foot, and again, ball touch. So let's do that. Step forward, ball touch in empty stance. So in empty stance, ball touch. Pick up the front foot, turn it through 45 degrees. Shift your weight forward, bring the back foot through, end with a ball touch. Again, step through, pick it up, turn to the right, ball touch. Pick it up, turn to the left, ball touch. We can take more than one step before we finish our posture, and that's what we did last week. So if you recall, what we talked about last week is when we make what we call this a transition step, it's always on the center line, two sides. So then instead of stepping through and stopping with our front foot in the front direction, we put the foot down to the corner and just keep moving. We call this Tai Chi walking. So let's try that. Start in an empty stance. Let's say ball touch. Chest open to the front foot direction, looking in the straight direction. Start walking. Pick up the front foot. Shift forward the weight. Put the right foot down, pointing to the right corner. Shift through. And you'll see as you walk, your chest turns to go in the direction of the supporting foot. One of the things that I want to remind you of is the importance of doing your waist openers so that you can keep your crotch rounded as you do this exercise. Now let's talk about bow stance. So with a bow stance, again, so perform a bow stance. You remember back foot to corner, front foot to straight. We've got 60% on the front, 40% on the back. Front leg is bent, back leg is straight but not locked. When we are in this forward position, our torso is tilted forward at the hip joint. We can also have the torso vertical by leveling the hips, turning the hips slightly to the corner and bringing the torso vertical. So you can see as I go into this posture, my hips close more towards the front foot, and when I come up, my hips open. So let us do the walking. How do we change direction? So I'll practice with my back to you, perform a bow stance. Let's say you are left foot forward, call this a left bow stance. We're going to go in that direction. Shift your weight back slightly, turn the left foot through 45 degrees. Shift your weight onto the left foot. You can see the distance between your feet is more than shoulder width. So pick your foot up, step it out, shoulder width, heel, ball, toe, bend knee. I'm going to go back to the front direction. Shift weight back slightly, turn the toe in, bring the foot in. More than shoulder width, bring the foot in, step it out. Shoulder width, heel, ball, toe, bend knee. As you're in this posture, feel push and support. So feel that your front leg wiggle forward, wiggle your weight backwards and forwards, and feel that your back leg is pushing into your front leg is pushing into the back leg. In particular, make sure that your back leg is nice and rooted. It's very easy for us to float forward and have the back leg come up. And actually even sometimes the back heel come up, and sometimes even the front heel comes up. So push back with your front leg to make sure that you're nice and grounded. So we can also go in a straight line. So let's do that. Actually, I'll go in this direction. Okay. So I'm going to add my body posture. I'm going to go forward, shift weight back slightly, open the front toe. Left toe opens to the left. Step through. You'll see my chest goes to the left. Heel, ball, toe, bend knee. Bend the torso since I'm going in that forward direction. I'll do this again. Shift my weight back. Now open the right toe. You'll see my chest starts turning to the right. Step through, heel touch, heel, ball, toe, bend knee. And the last one that we talked about last time was turning through 180 degrees. And this one, actually, I will assume that you're mirroring me. So if you are going from your left to your right, you would have your right foot forward. So to turn around, shift your weight all the way back, turn this front toe through 135 degrees, shift weight back, release the hips, pivot on the ball of this foot that's now the front foot, pick it up, step it out, and go forward into your bow stance. And we can come back. We can go back the other direction in the same way, shift back, weight. Because we're going to turn the front foot a lot, shift the weight all the way onto the back. That frees up the front foot to pivot all the way around. Shift back, release the front foot, pivot on the ball of the front foot, step out, heel, ball, toe, bend knee. A couple of accommodations. If you struggle to get your foot around, there are a couple of things you can do. One is if your front foot only goes, let's say, 90 degrees. As you shift your weight back, turn both feet so that they're both pointing to the corner. Now your back foot is in the right position for a bow stance. Pick it up, go into a bow stance. Again, shift your weight back, pivot it as far as it'll go. As you shift your weight back, pivot both feet so that they're both pointing to the corner. Your back foot is in the right position for a bow stance. Pick it up, step it through. Or what you can do is, let's say you only get to 90 degrees, keep it there, step out into a bow stance, and as you move your weight forward, bring that back foot to 45 degrees. So fix it at the end is the other thing you can do. So let's do it going the other way. Shift your weight back, pivot, let's say you only get to 90 degrees, pick up, step out into a bow stance. You're going to have a nice open groin here. As you move your weight forward, bring that back into the correct alignment for a bow stance. Okay, let's talk about how we change between different stances. We're going to go from a bow stance to an empty stance and an empty stance to a bow stance. Going from an empty stance to a bow stance is actually really easy. There's really only one way to do it. Pick up the front foot and step it out, because you know that it's got to be shoulder width when you finish. So start in an empty stance, pick up, not mirroring, pick up the front foot, step it out, and you're in a bow stance. And do it on the other side. Pick up the front foot, step it out, you're in a bow stance. Again, and it can be a heel touch or a ball touch. Pick up the front foot, step it out to shoulder width, shift forward, now you're in a bow stance. And on the other side, we're in empty stance. Let's say we're empty stance, heel touch, pick it up, wider, go forward. When we change from a bow stance to an empty stance, there's two ways you can do it, and I'll show you both. What you know is, well, let me show it this way. When you're on a bow stance, your feet are shoulder width apart. When you're in empty stance, your feet have got to be center line to sides. So you've got to get your feet either side of either this line or this line. So one way of doing it is I'm going to bring my back foot in. So I'm going to shift my weight forward, bring the back foot in, and then I go into my empty stance. Do it on this side. I'm in a bow stance. Shift my weight forward to release the weight, bring the back foot in. Shift back and go into my empty stance. Now there's one thing that you need to pay attention to. As you remember, when we change between empty stance and empty stance heel touch and empty stance ball touch, we lift up the weight to go from heel to ball to heel to ball. So if you are if you want to end up in an empty stance heel touch, you're going to push off with the ball of your foot and land on the heel. If you want to end up in a ball touch, bring the back foot in, push off with your heel, and end on the ball. I'll turn around and let's practice this on both sides, your choice of sides. So let's do one first. So let's go to an empty stance ball touch. So shift forward, bring the back foot in. We're going to land on the ball, so push off with the heel and land on the ball. And do it on the other side. Shift forward weight, bring the back foot in. We're going to land on the ball, so push off with the heel and land on the ball. We can do it on the other side, so let's go back to where we started. Now we're going to land on the heel and we're going to push off with the ball. Shift the weight forward, bring the back foot in. Push off with the ball. You can see my heel is off the ground. Pick up the foot and land on the heel. Do it on this side. Shift your weight forward, push off with the ball, and land on the heel. Last but not least, parallel stance. How do we go from parallel stance to bow stance and bow stance to parallel stance? So we're in a parallel stance here. I'm going to go into a bow stance. I just bring this foot forward because we know it's got to be on this line. So I just move my foot forward. It's shoulder width apart already. And on the other side, I'm starting in a parallel stance. Open the toe, just bring the foot forward, shift it forward. When I want to go into from a bow stance to a parallel stance, one thing I can do, I can just bring my foot forward. So, this is the simple way of doing it. But we can also shift our weight back, turn the front foot through 90 degrees, pick up the front foot, and put it down. And those are all movements. So let us actually practice just going from one to the other. You can do this at your own pace, at your own you can make up your own combinations. You can do this endlessly, but I'll just go through one set of movements and let's just see how that goes. So I'm going to go in the same direction as you. So I'm assuming that we're all facing forwards. We'll start with the feet parallel. So I'm going to go into bow stance, left foot forward. So shift my weight slightly to the right, shift my weight to left, shift the right toe open, step forward with the left leg. I'm going to go in this direction. Shift my weight back, turn the front foot through 45 degrees, pick up the right foot, step it out. Now I'm going to turn around and go in that direction. Shift my weight back, come around, pick up the front foot, step out into a bow stance, and let's go into a vertical torso position. Now I can go into an empty stance from here. Turn my front foot through 45 degrees, so I'm facing the front. Pick up the front foot, heel touch, empty stance. Going to change to ball touch going in that direction. So pivot the front foot 45 degrees, pick up the front foot, empty stance, ball touch. Going to reset a little bit. So from here, I can go into a bow stance. I'm going to just step wider, bow stance. Going to an empty stance, heel touch, by bringing in the back foot. Shift my weight back, push back with the ball, land on the heel. I'm going to go into a bow stance, going in that direction. So open my left toe, shift my weight in the direction of the left foot, step through, I'm in a bow stance. Do another bow stance, keep going in that direction, open the front foot. So weight shift in the direction of the front foot, step out, I'm back at my left empty stance. Let's do that change again. So shift forward my weight. I'm going to land in a heel touch. So push off with the ball, empty stance, heel touch. Change. So from here, change into a bow stance, shift your weight forward. So we're in a left bow stance. Now we're going to do a two-step. Shift your weight back, open the front toe, step a transition step, right foot to the corner, center line, two sides. Keep shifting your weight forward. Step into a bow stance. Left leg forward. And to finish, let's turn back to the screen. With parallel stance, shift back your weight, pivot on the left heel. Pivot that foot all the way to 90 degrees. Pick up the right foot and put it back next to the left foot. And you're back in your parallel stance. So for those of you who know the form, That should be very familiar. That's the footwork with one or two minor changes for the first section. Are there any questions? And you don't have to do that footwork when you practice. You can just do whatever you like, and it helps to do it for 10 minutes every day for a couple of months until it really is in your body. Okay, so let us practice our waist exercises. If you have a chair, if you're using a chair, by all means get it. The reason I use a chair is so that we can isolate the movement in the lower back and not actually turn the hips as well. You can do it standing if you wish, or if you want to start practicing standing, you can just straddle your chair. That's another way of doing it. Some of us can't straddle our chairs because chairs have arms as well. So anyway, here we go. All right. So to review, we said that when we do waist practice, there's essentially three ways we can move. One is what we call horizontal movement, and so that's this movement. That's horizontal. Vertical is this way, or this way, or this way, or this way, any of those. And so we started with our arms like this. So this is just so that we learn to isolate the movement here, and we're not moving our arms. This is a box. So we're going to do 4 on each side. So turn to one side, center, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Okay. Now we're going to go in this direction, side to side, and let's just start with our arms out and imagine somebody's pulling in your fingertips. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Now we're going to go in the direction in and out from the chest. So now your arms are still out, but imagine somebody's pulling your chest forward and pushing it back. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Okay. Now we can also do things on an angle. So turn your chest open to one of the corners slightly, and we're going to go in this direction, following the arms. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Okay, to square to the other corner. 1, 1, 2. Try and keep your shoulders level. 3, 3, 4, 4. And center. Now we're going to go chest in and out. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Other side. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Okay. I suggest you just stand up and just shake if you don't do this very often, because I want to make sure that you don't stiffen up. Now let's do this again. But this time, rather than having the arms out, we'll just hold a balloon, because I find this is an easier position. Actually, before we do that, and you can rest for a moment, the reason why we practice the waist, there are two reasons. There are two functions of the waist. One function of the waist is, we say the waist controls the limbs. And when I was quoting the classics, one of the things they say is the waist is like an axle. So in fact, when I move my arms, I actually mostly move my waist in order to move my hands, and then I can add the arms as well. And in fact, when I walk, when I'm walking here, when I'm moving this back leg forward, it's actually the waist that's moving this foot forward. So the waist is actually controlling the limbs. The other reason why we practice the waist, or the other function of the waist, is it determines where the energy is delivered. So for example, If you have a long strike, you're delivering the energy here. But if you've got a very short strike here, you've got a smaller waist movement. And so that the range of movement of the waist determines where the energy stops and is delivered. So let's practice this again. Okay, so arms rounded. Let's go from side to side. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. And let's do it at an angle. So to go to one of the angles and go in that direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. And turn the chest to the other corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go back to the first corner. Now we're going chest in and out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. The movements that I've shown you are actually not very effective because one of the principles that we got from young Chengfu is to practice continuously and without interruption. So when you're delivering energy, you never stop. You always move in a circle. So you don't go somewhere, stop, and then have to restart. You make sure that everything is always in a circle. But you'll notice that what we've been doing is we've been going to one side and stopping, and then going to the other side and stopping. Or when we're going side to side, go to this side, stop, or this way, stop. We need to put the circles in. And so when we said this is horizontal and this is vertical, this is also vertical, when we combine them, we call it mixed. And so I'll show you the movement that we're going to do now with our chest. We're going to go towards a corner and go around and then come back across the middle, go around, go back across the middle. And so you can see, if you follow the center of this circle, you'll see that it follows a figure 8. And so this mixed movement we also call figure 8. And so we can go either from front to back across the center or from back to front across the center. And we'll practice both of those. So let us try that. So just follow along. So I'm going to turn my chest and I'm going to assume that you're mirroring me. And so when I give cues, I'll talk about your direction. So I'm going to turn to your left. So towards the back. Now go around the circle on the left side. Now go from the left to the right, from front to back. Now on the right side, make a circle. Come back. This is 2. Go back, front to back, left to right, back to front. Now from your right to your left. And so you can find perhaps that you're doing a figure 8 with your spine. Now let's stop here at the back on the right and go back the direction we came. So from your right to your left, from back to front. And so we've reversed the direction. Going around, forward, forward, around the circle on the right, from back to front, around the circle on the left, back to front. And stop. So I'm not going to do very much with this today because you may find that your back is a little bit stiff tomorrow if you don't often do this. One of the joys of waist exercises is we don't often do this with our spines, and it really does help loosen our spines and give us more hydration of the discs between the vertebrae. Okay. Are there any questions about that? Let us review. So the first thing we talked about today was the progression of learning. I've highlighted the things that we're focusing on. The first part in the progression of learning is to understand the reason. We've talked about yin-yang theory. We've talked about the posture essentials. These slides are available to you online, and there will be a link to them in the video. Then the second part is know your body, and we've been working on footwork, which is lower body, middle body, which is the angle of the body. And today we started with practice. We had a second class on the waist, practice methods. Next week we'll do upper body. We'll start on upper body. Breathing. That is what we focused on today in standing practice. What affects it is your body shape, those 4 essentials. How your body is set. So in other words, or is your body properly stacked, or are you leaning too far forward or too far back? And where is the weight location? If you find that you're like hanging out on your balls of your feet or on the heels, you'll also tense up. And that takes us to the second thing that affects breathing, which is energy. So the first part, physical posture, is shape. You can see that. Energy you can't see, but you can feel. And so when I talked about in standing practice, when you try and stiffen up and release, that's finding the balance between stiff and limp in your practice. And the last thing is your mind. So if your mind is agitated, your breathing will be agitated. And so we actually use the shape and the breathing to affect our emotions, and our emotions obviously will affect the breath as well. We talked a little bit about the waist. I talked about the functions to lead the limbs and to control the energy release. And last week we did horizontal and vertical movements. And today we added mixed, and mixed is the way in which you go around in circles. And we'll do more of those next week. 同学们，再见。
老师再见。